Good morning. Welcome back. If it's a little bit noisy in the background, I apologise. I've got my air conditioning unit on as it's pretty hot again today. Nowhere near as hot as yesterday. It's only 31 degrees Celsius. And in this room, it's also 31 degrees Celsius. So I just put my aircon on to cool the things down a bit. Well, let's look at that. How about this? Oh, I don't know if anybody's actually here. Let me just check to see if anybody's here listening. Or will I be chatting to myself? Good morning, Mayo. Welcome back. Good morning, everybody else. You can see this pretty decent head and shoulders pattern, which is currently playing out. I drew this, if you were around a week and a half ago, I drew this out when we were sitting about here, where it says right shoulder. And look how exactly that last 7-8 days has played out, exactly to the pattern. Depends on where you want to see this area to be completed. Let's just draw it in. This could be the zone in that area. So I'm watching this zone, basically, potentially watching that pivot. I might look for a swing play for a break and retest back into that zone. If we lose that zone, looking for a move down into the next zone. And these zones I drew up are literally based on volume shelves. So on the hourly chart, but if we zoom out, you can see exactly where the volume is. We've got a volume shelf there. Roughly in that area, we've got a volume shelf down here. Also in that area as well. And that's why I marked them out. And that area is a big area of confluence there as well. So, yeah, so it looks like it's playing out pretty well. And I'm going to be keeping an eye on that over the next few days. Sometimes one of my favourite plays is to take that right shoulder rejection. I wasn't around obviously this week, so I didn't see it set up. I literally only came in yesterday while we're sitting above that 50 moving average. But look at how significant this has been. We held the 50 there. We held the 50 here after we lost it back in March. And yet yesterday was the first time we closed below that 50 since that time there, since what's that, beginning of April. So we're finally back down below that 50 moving average on the daily time frame. And we are below that big volume shelf as well. So I'm pretty much, unless we have a big green day, then I'm pretty much like to go with this kind of right shoulder trend, looking for shorts today. So I'm going to be looking more short bias than bullish, only because we've now cleared that volume shelf. We were above that volume shelf yesterday. And then we got a little less volume void, a little noise, volume void until we get back down into that zone I've got drawn here. But we are currently sitting at the bottom of that zone, big area of confluence, tops and bottoms of candles there. We kind of big bottom tail candle there. We came into that zone again. We had a big reaction. When was that? June the 5th, June the 4th time. And then we're back down into that area. So it's be interesting. I would really like to see us kind of close in or around that area. And that is around 7,300. So keep an eye on that psychological number. But anyway, before we start, I always like to go over what news could move the market. And you can see on here, we've got some medium volatility coming in, consumer sentiment. Could be high volatility as well, depending on your platform you're using. And that's at 10 a.m. And then we've got some FOMC members speaking at 11:30. So just beware of them. Goods balance trade came in 8:30, and we didn't get much of a reaction to that. So just be wary of 10 a.m. this morning. Good morning to Craig. And good morning to Unto. Welcome back. So Craig says, good morning, Paul. Your level from the last 2 weeks hit yesterday. Perfect. Yeah. So, and that's why we do these pre-market preps, because it's good to have a plan and know in advance what we're looking for. These are areas we're waiting for. And so you're not just going in blindly every single day. So let me just make sure everything's running. I'm going to quickly start off with, as we're ending the week, I'm going to end. We're pretty much ending the month as well. When's the last day of the month? Wednesday, Tuesday. So let's just go on to the weekly for now. I'm ignoring that. We can clearly see that weekly head and shoulders pattern as well. We're right smack bang in this zone. I like looking at volume as well, because volume is where the key areas to watch, because that's where the institutional volume or the smart money is sitting. If we see lack of volume, then they're not interested. If we see high volume, then we know that's high volumes of buying and selling. Even though we see green volume in this area, it doesn't mean it's green buyers, because we've got bottom tails, topping tails, you know, there are sellers and buyers there. So looking at this weekly, let's just hide drawings for a second. How'd you hide drawings on here? I'm sure you can. Hide drawings, is that the one? No. Hide all indicators. There, it doesn't matter. I just wanted to hide the drawings, but we'll keep them in there for now. Just not as clean. I want to keep the head and shoulders pattern in place because that's something just to watch for next week. We had quite a bit of volume come in on this candle here. Notice the bottom tail. So at one point that was all red and then it was green again. That's a few weeks ago. We are holding this zone. Look where the volume shelf is as well on this weekly area. Right on this zone there, and we're kind of closing below that area. Assuming we close below that area today, we do have a lack of volume in this zone, so we can potentially watch that zone, and that head and shoulders pattern could potentially play off. So we could look for the break and retest and get it down to that 7200 area. If we do break down, we've got this massive volume shelf here, and that's sitting right on this big zone here, and around 7100, 7150. We know 7150, we'll be keeping an eye on that. That's that area there. And then we've got 7,000 as well in that key area. So that's our key number to watch for the sell-off over the next few weeks. Dropping down now to the daily, we just looked at that. We don't really need to add it, but the most significant thing on this chart at the moment is the fact we closed yesterday below that 50 moving average for the first time for some time since the beginning of April. So, you know, that's showing lack of institutional support from this chart. We've got that reversal pattern playing out as well. We're closing below the 50. We did hold 50 a few weeks ago, and now we've closed below. So let's see how long we stay below that 50. That's why we've got to be biasing shorts over longs. That's my way of looking at the market, looking at trends. Let's go down to the hourly and get some levels for today. Obviously, we're aware of this right shoulder. We're in a downtrend, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. What we're expecting? Maybe a lower high potentially. We can draw a better trend line in. Let's draw this trend line in around there. I'm looking for the most touches of candles on this hourly chart. Potentially, we could pull all the way back up into that yesterday's high area, all the way down to 74, basically 7,500 down to 7,400. We can watch all of this zone for rejection. Notice all these topping tails, rejection, 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 and a massive big volume shelf. We know that's a significant area. It's an area confluence. We kind of went sideways. We went sideways for a bit and held that area before pushing above it. Then we sold below it, pushed above it. We bounced. We came back down. Rejected. There was so much indecision there. I didn't see any of this last week. Must be. I wonder. Let me know in the comments. Was it a tough trading week? Because you know, look how sideways it is. Inside day after inside day after. Even here, inside days after inside days before we had that bit of a sell-off. What day was that? Tuesday. I was still away. I didn't see any of this. We had that sell-off in the post-market, pre-market, sideways as well. And today we are breaking the bottom of that range. It's a bit of a megaphone pattern there. And we came back, retested it in the post-market, came back down. So for me, I'm looking for trend continuation. If we pull back down into this point of control area, that area of confidence we spoke about, and these topping tails, around 74.40, 74.50, I'm going to be watching for rejection just up in that area. So let's mark that up. 74.50 rejection. That's the area I'm watching for rejection. That's if I'm even still here. If we break pre-market low, look for a break and retest short, back down to complete that head and shoulders pattern. So I'm looking for trend continuation again, short. Again, it's going to be tough going long into that 50 moving average and into that point of control and into all this confluence zone. So not a big fan of going long while we're in this downtrend at the moment. But we could try and find a scalp. And then that's pretty much it. If we are short, let's look for targets. We've got 1, 2, 3 big zones there to watch. These are bottom tails. We have a little bit of a volume shelf, so that gives us a bit more fine tune. So maybe keep an eye on that 73.50 as a target, potentially 73.25, maybe 7300 as the bottom of that zone. And I think that is pretty much it. A really simple plan today. So what I'm watching is a break and retest of pre-market low short. I'm looking for a pullback into that 74.50 area. all the way up to that 74, 75, potentially 7,500, big half number, psychological number. I like it because we were holding it. We rejected it a few times and we bounced from it. Then we came back down, rejected it. So keep an eye on that 7,500 if we do get up there. But for me, I'm looking for a continuation of this downtrend and continuation of this right shoulder. It's subjective where you want to draw your neckline here. I've got this area here as the start of the neckline. It's a bit angled because we've got tops and bottoms to pivots. That kind of lines up pretty well with these pivots. So potentially our neckline completion could be down here. And if we do watch out, I'll be looking for a break and retest back down into that zone. That's my longer term outlook. I think that is it. Looking at volume, that was pre-market volume. Yeah, volume's pretty average, not very exciting on here. Have I got the right chart to go to? Yeah, I've got the right chart open. There's nothing really I can see. The only significant areas that zone we've got marked up down here as well. I think that is pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I can't see anything else. Just be wary because obviously we have news at 10 a.m. and we are outside of yesterday's range, so we're not treating it as an inside day. I'm treating it as a trending day. So if I take the orb play out, I'd love to see the orb set up around pre-market low area. And there's not much. So look at the volume tailing off as well. There's not much until we get down into this zone here. So maybe we can play out an orb break and retest or an orb breakdown when it completes after the first 15 minutes. And that will be continuation of this trend. So that's what I'm looking for today. SPY next. We've got more than 50 minutes. Exactly same play. Look at that head and shoulders pattern. Not quite as defined as the ES one. We've got our left shoulder, head, right shoulder there. Our neckline, it's got to be below that point, that massive big volume shelf. So pretty much where we are right now. You could also do the same angled neckline and we can have it down at 77.20. So I'm looking for a break and retest of pre-market low short. If we pull back up into yesterday's high, look for the rejection and then maybe watch for the orbs, but that's it. But if we do clear this neckline area, look at that. Look at the lack of volume to the left. There's not a great deal. There's a few volume shelves. We can use them as targets. Next big volume shelf, not until we get to that big area of confluence around 700, just above 705, that area there. But we've got 700 as the next big psychological number. SPX, you can see that same pattern on here. 7,300's got to be a good target. We're going to be below yesterday's low, so that's a potential target. Notice how we gap filled yesterday as well. Where was yesterday? We opened up here, I think we did, didn't we? And then we kind of filled the gap quite easily. So we're going to be opening up, look for potential pullback into yesterday's low, and then potentially for the rejection. We held that area for a few days and we've watched out for rejection. So I didn't know, what's that look like on ES? Okay, so another plan actually on ES. I know I said I like the rejection up here around 74.50. Also watch yesterday's low. I do like watching for the break and retest of pre-market low and yesterday's low short. Obviously, I like yesterday's high long if we do that, but that's way that'd be breaking that trend as well if we get up there. So keep an eye on that 73.92. That's another area to watch for potential rejection. So I want to come into that area. We may have already seen it already. Let's see what happens when the market opens. Look for rejection at yesterday's low. And the same on SPX. So NASDAQ next. NASDAQ is looking pretty decent. If the ORB sets up anywhere in this area, I like it short today. It's not only breaking pre-market low, it's also breaking yesterday's low. And it will be breaking previous day's pivot lows as well. I like that for a short. So 29,300 basically. A break and retest of pre-market low or an orb setup. Look at this trend line as well. We can draw, depending on draw the trend line, we could draw it along there. We're holding it really in that zone. So if we pull back up to pre-market high, but around that 29,700, watch that for rejection. Notice where the big volume shelf is. 30,000, that's a key area to watch. A big psychological number. We were either holding it, and then we lost it, rejected it. We kind of rejected it there. We held it for a little tiny bit before that massive big red candle yesterday. So for me, watch 30,000. It's a messy page, I know. 30,000 could be a key area all the way down to yesterday's high. That zone there for rejection. But look at all these rejection candles. That's why I like it around that 29,800, 29,700. NASDAQ, I'm sorry, QQQ next. We've got that nice bit of volume here. That's that zone we're right smack bang in. I'd like to see it break down below pre-market low, yesterday low, continuation back down into that 700. Maybe watch for it to break below 700 as well. If we do lose 700, look at that. The volume just dips right off. So there's nothing really holding us back. Maybe some pivots here. So we could see a break and retest of that head and shoulders pattern play out as well. ORB would be great in that area as well. ORB at pre-market high would be better as well. So for me, I'm looking for trend continuation. I'm looking for maybe a pullback, for a rejection, or break and retest a pre-market low on QQQ. Oil next is down 3%. We had a bit of a revival yesterday. We were down and we were holding that area. Hopefully some people did okay on that oil. We're kind of holding that trend line as well. So for me, is this pre-market low, break and retest below pre-market low, short. If we get above pre-market, I like it long. They're the only two plays I like. We're still below that 50 moving average. There were some attacks in by Iran last night. I think I heard on the news. I was maybe wondering if that will change the cost of oil. Let's see what happens later. Oil, we've got 12 minutes, loads of time. Oil, are we seeing this bounce there? Remember I said yesterday, keep an eye on that 4,000. Look at that. It's exactly played out. We bounced. We pulled back into that 4,000 area and we bounced again. So we've got this lovely area, this nice pattern there. Pull back and a retest that zone on increased volume on the green candles, reducing volume on those red candles. So for me, I like this long. We're breaking trend, breaking market structure. We're above this big volume shelf as well. So I like yesterday's high where we are right now for a bounce. Maybe the safer play will be to break and retest over pre-market high. Trend continuation over 40.80, basically 4,080. If we pull back down into that zone, we can watch yesterday's pre-market low event, for potential bounce, big confidence area and big volume shelf to the left as well. Also watch 4,000 for potential inverse head and shoulders pattern. We might have a slightly lopsided neckline, but we could see it play out and do that. That could be another play. So keep an eye on gold. RTY next, sitting at 3,000. Big psychological number. We held for some time at 3,000. That's that key zone. You don't need volume profile to know that, even though we've got a big volume spike there. It's a psychological number. We rejected it, then we held it, then we rejected it, rejected it, rejected it. We held it, lost it, held it, held it. And then are we going to be holding it as well here? Maybe this is a head and shoulders pattern playing out and people sitting here on the high at all-time highs are going to be sweating it out, because also what I see is this trend line. So if I draw these pivots up here, just a rough area. If we lose pre-market low under 3,000, that would be a perfect candidate for a break and retest of that structure. And people who are holding up here, you might see them selling off and we might see it push down even further. So keep an eye on this area. If we get below 3,000, that could be that painful psychological power some people are holding. Longs above 3,000, sell it below 3,000. So just be wary of that. YM next. Again, are we looking at a date, this kind of hourly head and shoulders pattern? Are we looking, what's it like on a bigger time frame? Not really a defined one. We are holding this trend line. I've got that trend line there holding as well. Let's see if we break that trend line, look for the break and retest short. 50,000's got to be a target. Big time. Last time we got down there, we had a massive big reaction to it. I like the first reactions normally, but let's see what happens when we get back down there again. If we break that trend line, looks like we're starting to. Maybe we'll watch for a break and retest of 52,000, under 52,000. If we're going with the trend, then over pre-market high, over 52,500 long, basically. And then finally, Bitcoin. It tanked below 60,000 yesterday, 1, 2, 3, but it's holding that 50,400 area. You could say it's holding that 58,000. Sorry, not 58,000 I meant. So this is a zone to watch. We talked a couple of weeks ago about the cycle. We have, was it 1,000 days of buying, 360 days of selling, and we're only halfway through that 360 days. So maybe we're not seeing the end of this sell-off yet. If we were to sell off, then I do quite like where the volume shelf is, and that'll be the zone down here. Big area of confidence, bottoms of pivots, tops of pivots. We've yet to retest since we left that area, and that's around 50,000, a big psychological number as well. We could also keep an eye on this 35,000 area. Look at all that volume down there. So potentially we are putting in this head and shoulders pattern. Is this the neckline right now? What we're at? Have we just seen the break? That here, the break and the retest of the neckline. That's the neckline zone. And are we going to see some selling off down there? Are we going to hold that area, put in another pullback before selling off? But look at this. We've got a head and shoulders pattern, inside a head and shoulders pattern, inside and head and shoulders pattern, inside what could be a big head and shoulders pattern. You know, remember I say we use these patterns, are pretty reliable to see where we could be going in the future. You know, this is years away, by the way, but potentially that is another head and shoulders pattern we're looking at. But pretty reliable. If you zoom in, you can see head and shoulders patterns inside these areas. Look at that, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Maybe that's a double-headed pattern. Is the head and shoulders pattern here? Literally, Bitcoin is just made up of head and shoulders patterns. Break, and retest there, short. It just, we see it all the time. It's a really reliable pattern on Bitcoin. So that is pretty much all of the levels. We've got about 7 minutes before the market opens. Let's have a quick look at the FTSE 100 as well. That's around 10,000. We held at 10,300. Let's go into the daily. We're still putting in this flag pattern. You can see that here. We've yet to break it on either side, but we are narrowing. So here we can use these trend lines to determine whether we're going to break out long. It looks more bullish to me, or whether we're going to break out low. Because it's looking more bullish, it's in the top half of that zone. So for me, that looks more bullish. Going with that current trend as well. But we've seen it quite recently in other patterns we were watching where it just broke down and then we lost it. Can't remember what it was it gold or oil or something? So that's FTSE 100. Let's look at the German 40, the net DAX. Again, it's not doing much. It's just consolidating in this zone. A bit harder to play. But you can play the zones on these stocks. Look at that big volume shelf there. We can watch it come back down. Look, that's the trend line there. If we come back down into that 24,500 area, watch it for a bounce. If we get back up into that zone, watch it for rejection. Just putting it out there. These are also two we can keep an eye on. Let's go to ES. Let's just have a quick look at the order flow. While I'm there, let me just update my levels on the Discord as well. I'll be 2 secs while I just update my levels on the Discord. Try and do it before the market opens. Right, that's my premium Discord levels updated. I always put a bit of detail. I like to put as much detail as I can and screenshots. So I'm back again. Let me just go. Market's about to open in 3 minutes. Notice we had a big bounce at that pre-market. We're putting a new pre-market low, 73.66 area. I still quite like the retest of 73.90. Yesterday's low area back up here, and maybe we can get a quick scalp into that area. Looking at order flow. Well, firstly, let's look at Cumulative Delta divergence. Refresh my chart. You can see price has been selling off. Delta was holding for some time here. There's a bit of a divergence here coming in. So price buyers were absorbing all the selling pressure, and then sellers kind of put in one last hurrah. Buyers came in. Here, as you can see, big red bubble. Buyers kind of bought up on a bottom tail candle. So maybe we can watch for a potential bouncer here. So there's a slight divergence. Maybe if we can see a big green candle on the open, take out that level. Also watch buyers take out over 73.85. That might see a bit of a change of trend. We'll be breaking this downtrend. We've kind of broken it already just a few minutes ago. So I didn't see what happened there. We had a big sell-off and buyers came back in. Just keep an eye on this on the open. Obviously, don't ignore our levels on watch. Market opens in 30 seconds. Right. I had more sleep last night. I had a good 8 hours sleep. I was only on 2.5, 3 hours sleep yesterday. I overtraded as well, lost a paid account. I did also gain a paid account this morning. I bought one, which I had kicking around. I forgot to pay for it before I went away. So I'm trading off my SIM account, and it copies it over to my evals, and it also copies it over to my paid accounts. So my paid accounts, I've got it set to cross. So one ES contract will buy one MES contract on my paid accounts. I'm scaling them up by about 3 and 4. So it will buy. I've got it set to buy 3 times. So if I buy 3 ES contracts, it will buy 9 MES contracts. It keeps me within the scaling rules for Apex then. Market's now open, by the way, and we haven't seen much big aggressive selling coming in at the moment. Again, like I said, I liked it if we can break over that 73.82 for a quick reversal, maybe a bottom here. Let's see what happens. Buyers absorbing all this selling pressure. All these sellers are pushing hard, but buyers absorbing all. Here we go. We've got a delta flip as well. We're coming into that buy area. I'm going to look for a long now. So I'm now long. Lots of aggressive buyers coming in. So that's 10 ticks. Are we going to hit 20 ticks? So for buying imbalances, I like this still long. Come on, buyers. We saw the buying pressure come in. Sellers absorbing, back to my break-even area. Let's see whether buyers can pick back up again. Bottom tail candles here on the Cumulative Delta. Here we go, there's 20 ticks and I'm now break-even. Nice, easy trade, this one. How about that? So I'm totally risk-free now. Whatever happens, I'm break-even at a pivot, which works really well for me as well. I will be trading point of controls. So it's a green day for me, and this probably will be my one and only trade. And I'm out break-even. How about that? That's a nice, easy trade. I did say watch this area for a scalp. We saw it coming in, set up beautifully. So let's just make sure all my accounts are cleared. All my positions are closed. I've had a few issues with my account. That's it. So I'm up about $200, couple $100. It's not too bad. Like I said, I'm scaling using MES contracts. I just want to build up my accounts a little bit. Had I been using ES contracts, that would have been 300. I'm up on my sim account, 375 basically. So what's that, about half an hour? So okay, easy trade. Look at that, and that's why we like our stops, because look what happened. It sold off. So now we're coming to our pre-market low. We could see another play here. Also, is that a rejection of yesterday's low? That was also another play worth watching. Both of these plays. I was going long into yesterday. Didn't quite get to yesterday's low. 392 was the area I was watching. 390. But that's potentially a break and retest of yesterday's low. Just played out as well. And if you did that, look at that for a nice, easy 20. I would have got in probably on the pivot break. Lack of sellers, lack of buyers. I meant it would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would have been an 8-hour move. So I missed that one, but I got my long. I was watching for the scalp. Maybe I should be looking at the bigger picture. We're breaking pre-market low now. Nasdaq's selling off. Russell's selling off. Bitcoin showing a bit of a red sign. Gold is kind of just hovering there, but it's a red candle. Big topping tail from oil, and then it sold off. SPX opened below yesterday's low as well. So we had a delta flip here with negative delta coming in, big positive delta. Lots of buyers down here as well, around that 73.60. Let's have a look, see what's around that area. That was pre-market low area as well. Post-market low area where we sold off earlier. So buyers were back down that area. That's potentially able to keep an eye on. Big orders, by the way. We didn't look at big orders, did we? 73.50. We got 117, 25, 73, and then 77 above, way above. So not a big fan of the long here, only because we've got negative deltas on green candles, and then we suppose we had a weak negative delta then follow through, so maybe the long could have worked. Green candle, minus 14, is not convincing enough for me. Look at that last candle in 5 minute. Topping tail, bottom tail, indecision. So Andrew says, not quite yes, but SPY rejected right at the previous day low. Sweep the level by a few cents. Oh, there you go. I don't have SPY open on any of my thumbnails. That's good to see that. It means they're honouring levels. So like I said, I wasn't a big fan of this long here because of weak buying. Still not a big fan. One aggressive buy, only 15, very thin prints here. But negative deltas, it looks more of a short than a long to me. Red candle, positive delta, no follow through. Lack of buyers. Look at these single digit, double digit prints. Is there a bank holiday in the US coming up soon? It's not today, is it? It's not Juneteenth Day, or we had that? Or did I miss that was that last week? Just wondering, the thin prints might be the fact there's no one trading today. I could look it up, but I'd rather just comment on the order flow, wait for something to happen. So look at this, we've got selling pressure coming back now. So like I said, it looks more of a short to me, and it's playing out exactly how I said. So I'm not a fan of a short right now, only because price is holding but delta's selling. and we're smack bang inside that range. Really don't want to get involved playing anything inside this range. Don't mind the opening, taking that opening move. But the first 5 minutes, first 15 minutes, we want to be playing outside those ranges. Craig says we have orange folder news at 9 a.m. 10 a.m. he says. Andrew says, yes, it's closed next Friday for the 4th. Oh, 4th of July. Don't you have a half market for Juneteenth? Is it called Juneteenth Day? I'm just searching it on Google. So there's nothing of interest to me at the moment on the market. The 19th of June. I wasn't here. That was last week when I was away. So Andrew, was the market closed last week? Or was it a short week or a short day? I can't remember whether I saw it on my news calendar. Also, hopefully it was closed. It means I didn't miss out as many trading days. Sad as it is. Still not a fan of buying around here. The lack of buyers. Not a great deal amount of sellers. Look at the volume as well. 800s, 900s, 400s, 500s, 200s, 1500 on that candle, 500s, 300s, 620, 700 on this. Andrew says, yeah, it was closed on the 19th. Okay, that's good. So I only missed a few trading days last week. That makes me feel better. And then Craig says, no opportunities that day. Yeah. On any day when it's open half a day or closed, I wouldn't recommend trading. So look at this. This looks like a short coming up. I don't want to go short into pre-market low. But if we break pre-market low, I'm going to stick with my initial plan, my bigger picture plan, a break and retest short under 73.65. Because at the moment, it's just inside that first 5 minute candle and don't want to get involved playing a range. And I'm happy to walk away on a green day, a small green day, but it's a green day. Made up for my red day yesterday. I had not a particularly good. I think I took 3 losing trades, overtraded. Might have taken 4 trades, I think. Definitely overtraded yesterday. Yeah, I think I was break even at one point, and then I took another 2 trades for a couple of losses. And one of my paid accounts hit its trading drawdown, which is a bit frustrating. One thing is, one of my goals actually for this month, which I've not done yet, was to fund my TradeZella account and trade that. I might roll that goal over to next month. So look at this, we've got sellers, all the buyers holding the price, absorbing all this selling pressure. Are we going to see a bounce around here? Bear in mind, we've got 7,400 above, a psychological number. That was a holding number yesterday in the post-market. We held it a few times, or close holding it, and then we lost it, rejected it twice in the pre-market. It's going to be a short trading day for me as well today. I'm camping with the scouts. I don't remember yesterday I said I was out helping setting up the tents. So I'll need to get down there a bit earlier. It's the annual family camp from my scouts section, from my scout group actually. So we've got all the beavers, the squirrels, the beavers, the cubs, the scouts, explorers, all the families all there on that one day. Well, we're there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And as a family camp, everyone's split into 4 teams and it's pretty competitive and there's lots of activities. You've got to win points. And on Sunday, the winners get announced and you get to hold the trophy for the year of the best group, and it's a themed camp as well. So and they keep it top secret. I'm not there as a leader. I'm going as a parent because my family is going. So I'm going to be there as a parent. So I'll be there with my kids enjoying. So even though I help out as a leader, they won't tell me the theme. I've been trying to find what the theme is, but they won't tell me. So one of the themes was Christmas a few years ago when it fell on the 24th, 25th, and 26th of June. Last year was a James Bond theme, which is really good. So I look forward to see what this year's theme is. And the best thing about it, because it's family camp, families are in charge of their own children. So as a leader, we all sit around the campfire with a few beers and just enjoy the night. So, and enjoy the day. And it's not unusual for a leader to be walking around with a coffee mug most of the day, and it's definitely not coffee inside that mug. So nothing really to look at in the market yet. Bottom tail candle on that last 15 minute. Indecision candle in the 5 minute. The opening range is probably going to be set by that first 5 minute candle. So not ideal range, but it is what it is. Are we looking more bullish now? We've got big buyers. Remember I said buyers absorbing all the selling. Now the buyers have come back in. Buyers are breaking that 2 minute, breaking the 2 minute delta, 2 minute price. So maybe let's watch for an orb break over 73.88. Ideally, if you look at my top left chart, it'd be nice if it takes out both yesterday's low and opening range high. Because obviously I'm watching out for rejection here, but I want to see it break out and take out that level. Here we go. This is the last hurrah before we close this candle. Is it going to set a new opening range? We've got 10 seconds. We've got quite a bit of buying pressure coming in here. We can see buyers on the delta. And here we go. Now we're selling off. That's why we just don't jump in. We don't just jump in for no reason. We wait for confirmation. And look at that. We sold off. Buyers are coming in there, but we never go long into a level. Also interesting to see wide range green candles decline in volume despite the buyers absorbing all their sellers. But then we know, because we're looking at order flow, that green candle has a lot of sellers in both of these green candles. And here we go, selling off. How difficult, how awful is this price action right now? 2 bottom tail candles on 15-minute chart. Tough to go short in that area. We know there's buyers there. Buyers down here as well. We know that because we saw that back in the post market last night. Could we have taken the delta flip? Maybe. Buyers at the high. I mean, point of controls at the high. We did have buyers on this candle, so wasn't a big fan of that. But no follow through, no positive delta. Lack of buyers, maybe on the pullback here. The first green candle. I want to do some back testing actually on these reversals. I want to see how many reversals happen, and then with the first green 10 range candle, and how many successfully can get 10 or 20 ticks afterwards. After a clear swing pivot. Here we go, another bottom tail candle. That's why I said we've got to keep an eye on this area. Buyers are definitely interested in this area right now. Here you go. Buyers breaking out on both 2 minutes. This could be a long here now. Keep an eye on that 7400 long. Look at that volume though. decline in volume as prices increasing. Rejected yesterday's low. Delta imbalances here. Delta divergences with these red candles. So that was not a good sign to go long. Red candle, positive delta. And now we're just taking that out. This looks better. Delta balance, buying pressure's coming in. We're breaking the orb. We've got a minute and a half left. Likely we're going to be putting in a higher volume candle. If it closes above the orb, I like this for a long. Put my orb buttons in. Positive delta, lack of buyers at the high, so that's a concern. And then lots of sellers with no buyers in return. So that's probably people who take the 5-minute orb there. They got triggered in, sellers sold off. You can see where they got triggered in up here. Buyers took the high. Again, that's why we wait for confirmation. And selling off. So reversal, first green candle. Could we have taken a short? Maybe. The market is looking pretty meh at the moment. Doesn't look very good at all. We've got bottom tail candles on the 15. We know that's a bounce area or a buyer area. We rejected yesterday's low. This could be the break and retest of yesterday's low. Look at that, we came right into it. I wouldn't want to go short on this 5-minute unless we broke that 5-minute candle short. Andrew says, ugly price action so far. Barcode on ES and NQ. It is indeed. It's awful. Anyway. Looks like a Christmas tree. Red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green. Right. Excuse me. Not gonna lie, this is not good price action. My lack of sleep over the last few days is starting to catch up on me. Thank you, Craig. Craig says he won't trade until PDL 178. Not sure what that means, sorry. Here we go, this could be the orb break on this candle. Hopefully it's a smaller candle and we break yesterday's low. I'm about to go and, oh, previous day low, sorry, yeah, I agree. I agree, yeah, I won't go long into it. But if this candle takes out 392, 73.92 and holds around, I'd like to see a nice small candle, I see a big candle, better risk reward. But we're rejecting yesterday's low again. Buyers came in again there, 51. But we've got a buying imbalance right at the high of today. We do have a nice aligned point control area here. This could be a potential area for a bounce. 73.82. That's the area I was watching earlier for the long. When I was watching for the breakout long. Look at Delta as well, just sideways. Not doing much. Price is sideways. Not doing much. News as well in 4 minutes. Medium volatility. Remember, consumer sentiment. So maybe not a good idea to go into any trades right now. We do have green reducing volume with one bigger volume from the red candle, although that's an indecision candle. Here we go, this is a breaking candle. This is the orb breaking candle. Lots of buying. Look at this, aligned point controls, 2 in a row. So we know that's a support area. That's that 85 area again, 84 area. Everyone was watching earlier. Maybe if we pull back down into that zone, we can watch for a bounce. Clear pivot. Excuse me. This is a big wide range candle, but look at the volume. Not as much volume yet. The lack of sellers on the pullback. That looks interesting for a long still. Tempted to go long, but not really. We've got 3 minutes for the news. Could we find a long here? Lack of sellers. Pretty much lack of buyers here now as well. No buyers here. 0, 0. That's unusual. You don't normally see that. Big wide range candle. Look at that. You expect a candle with that amount of buyers will be at least double the previous candle if they were relative to each other. But we were watching this area for buyers and we got that. There we go, top intel, news in 15 seconds. Excuse me. It's a news candle. Boom, look at that. So we've got an official breaking bar, which has just broken the orb. If it pulls back, I might try and find a long. Oh, I missed it. That's fine. Here we go. This could be the pullback we're waiting for. Buyers coming in. Pre-market high above. Okay, I'm going to go for a long just here. Looking into pre-market high. Are we going to get it? Buyers coming in. No, I've taken out my 10 tick. It's not looking that great. Here we go. Buyers are coming back in. See the buyers push it. Lack of selling on here. That's why I liked it long. And it's also the orb breakout. So I like the orb breakout. Doesn't look too promising. Buyers on the last candle. We're going to take out that red pivot. I'm probably going to, if we don't get a follow through, I'm just going to shut it down. Just going sideways. Nasdaq's looking pretty decent. ES is not following. So Nasdaq's doing the same as well. Buyers coming in on these red candles. Here we go, I'm out. That's an easy in and out trade, wasn't it? Just make sure I'm definitely out of everything. Yeah. Down about $80. 23 on my paid account, $80 on my other paid account. This is the orb breakout though. I still like this area. I was looking for a quick scalp long. I just want to see buyers come back in. I'm looking for a re-entry long on this orb. We do have pre-market high above. I do like it long over pre-market high into that 74.50 area we talked about earlier. So I like it over 7,400 still. As long as stay above that, I like it long. Small buying imbalance on that last candle. I'm going to try and find one more entry. I'm going to take it through pre-market high over 7,400 on a whole 74. Okay, I'm looking for a long. Taking out that pivot. I see buyers coming in now. Just fine tune the entry. I'm going long now. Just where buyers are coming in. Come on in, buyers. Just hit my 10 tick. This is a tough long. Here we go. Let's get it above. Here we go. Almost 10 ticks. 10 ticks. Are we going to hit the 20 tick? And then it'll be break even then. Coming in. Just a few more ticks long. Buyers still coming in. Look at these buyers coming in now. Coming in hard. Should hit that 20 tick if we just keep absorbing. Not if the sellers keep absorbing though. Here we go. 20 ticks. Nice easy trade this one. I was probably in it a bit early. So I'm now risk free. And my next target is at 80 ticks. And that'll be a nice, that was the orb, the break over pre-market high. And obviously the scalp kind of merged to me. That's like lots of confirmations we're waiting for. So I'm back green for the day. Whatever happens, I'm green today. So first pivot, lots of buying and selling, small negative delta up here. Big aggressive buyers coming in. Let's see whether we can push it up. I will look to trail. I want to trail pivots basically. So that's the first pivot. That's what I'm going to be trailing. The lack of sellers, only 2 down there, so I'm happy to trail. So better than break even now, so it's going to be a good day. I will happily move my target if we get close to it. In fact, 74.50, that's the area I was watching. I'm moving my target, but I'm going to be trailing. Just trading pivots. Look at this. This looks good. Big aggressive buying delta, small negative selling delta. I say that. I'm going to trail. Hopefully you see the buyers come in here. Okay, I'm about to trail out. There you go, I'm out. That leaves me green for the day. So that's one small winning, one losing trade, and another green winning trade. I trailed a bit early. I did trail. I was trading the point of controls basically. I wanted to get over this consolidation area. But as soon as I saw the sellers come in, lack of buyers, I just want to get out. And that's it. So I go into the weekend on a green day, which is good. If you're playing the orb, one R will be 74.30 area. 2R 74.50. That's our rejection area I was watching earlier. So keep an eye on that. Could get 2R out of this quite easily. And we're over pre-market high as well. I like the break and we test a pre-market high. We may have just seen that happen here. See, had I not moved my stop to that pivot, I would have still been in this trade. But I was trailing, and you know, it's part of my scalping strategy. Coming into that 1R now. So just go back to my trading view. Remember I said I like this zone. I'm going to draw the lines in this zone here, around that zone for the rejection. So this zone here, around 74.50, 74.53. Big volume shelf, big area of confidence. We were consolidating there. We held that area. And then yesterday we had all of these selling candles. Lots of rejection. So I'm expecting a reaction in that zone. So if you've got the orb long and you're still in it, then that's a good target. That'll be a 2R target. The delta's going in the right direction. We were watching this delta break here earlier, weren't we? Around 9.50, we saw it break out. And it worked quite well. A bit of a divergence. We saw that delta price was holding, buyers absorbing all this selling pressure, and we saw exactly how it played out. So we knew in advance there was buying pressure. Even though I said this morning I liked seeing it with the trend, I still like the short, but we saw all this buying pressure where the delta was being, we see aggressive sellers coming in, price was holding. So we knew there was a buyers in that area. That's why I like the long over pre-market high, over yesterday's high, I meant, sorry. And then we held, price held, and this is the breakout just here. That's where we got in. Kind of holding this area now. Didn't quite hit 1R, but it's getting close. So, and that again is using order flow and footprint charts to determine which way to go. Even though we're a bit of a short bias, I've still got a short bias because we're going with that downtrend on that right shoulder. The delta and the order flow just set up for that nice long. And obviously we use confirmations, and that's previous day levels, pre-market levels, as well as what we see on the chart here. Works out pretty well. If you've got a NinjaTrader, then you can buy these footprint charts on my website. There's a link in the description. There's a discount code also in the description. It's going to be going up shortly. I've not done it yet. I've been holding off. Had a few inquiries about it, so I just held for a bit. But it will be going up. I did say by the end of June, so in the next few days. So it's a good time to buy it now. Added these delta flip as well. I've got some new code. I've got some new updates of it soon as well. You can see the delta flips on these pivots. We use that as another confirmation. If you're holding this orb, it looks good for 1R, by the way. Everything's green right now. Well, not green on the day, but green last 15 to 30 minutes. That's 1R on the orb. Well done. Apart from oil, which is red, going in the opposite direction. Gold is looking really strong. Nasdaq is, ES is. Right, I'm going to be calling it a day because I've got to get ready for my scout camp, pack my bag and everything. It's been a good day. Nice to be back. Have a lovely weekend. Remember, A+ setups only. No over trading. And I will see you on Monday. I'll be back Monday. Probably weary-eyed again. Looking forward to having my own bed back as well. I've only slept in my own bed for one night in the last 2 weeks. And I've not slept in my own bed on a Friday and Saturday for the last 3 weeks. So I've been out hiking, or I've been away at scout camps and various things. Craig says no trade for you. Good for you. Yeah, brilliant. Just shut it down. I think I saw your comment earlier about shutting it down from that Monday. That's always a good plan. I always recommend that. It's good risk management as well. You don't have to take trades every day. Right, I'm going to call it a day. I'll leave this screen on for now, so you've got this order flow running. And then I'll turn off before I leave in about an hour. So appreciate everyone. Have a lovely weekend. And I will see you on Monday. Okay. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, also hit that like button because it really helps people find me on the channel. So we've got 2 likes so far, 8 people on here. So please hit the like button. Andrew says, nice work, Quade. Same for Andrew as well. Didn't like anything. I don't blame you. It's not a nice market. The only thing I liked was when we got out of that 15-minute range today. Okay, have a lovely weekend and I'll see you on Monday. Thanks for watching.